Okay, so ready to dive deep today. We're really going to unpack this whole idea of why not you?
I love that question. It's so simple, yet so powerful.
Right. And it's something I think we all struggle with, especially, when we're hit with that wave of self-doubt, like when we see other people achieving their goals, living their dreams, and we're stuck with that, ugh, why them and not me feeling.
It's so easy to get caught in that comparison trap, isn't it?
Totally. We start to look at successful people almost like they've got some kind of secret advantage, some magic ingredient that we're missing.
Right, like they were born with some special talent or something.
Yeah, exactly. But this whole deep dive, it really challenges that assumption, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the things that really resonated with me was how they flipped the script on that whole why me
Yeah.
mentality.
Yes, that why not me
Mhm.
thing. It's like a whole different energy.
Right. It's about reclaiming your power, taking ownership of your potential. And it reminded me of that story from the episode, the woman who always wanted to open a bakery.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was such a good example. She always had this dream, but she kept telling herself, I'm not a real baker. I don't have the right training. So she never even tried.
Exactly. She had all these self-imposed limitations holding her back. But then one day she just decides, why not me? And she starts small, baking for friends, then selling at a local market.
And before you know it, boom, she's living her dream. Owns a successful bakery. It's incredible.
It really highlights how often we are the ones standing in our own way,
Big time. It's like we have all this potential trapped inside, but our self-perception, those limiting beliefs, they become the bars on our own cages.
It's that classic imposter syndrome, right? Feeling like we're not good enough, like we don't deserve success, even when we have the evidence to prove otherwise.
Totally. It's crazy how many successful people struggle with that feeling. Like deep down they think, it was just luck, or I'm gonna get found out.
Oh, I know. I've definitely had those thoughts myself. But the truth is, it's rarely about luck. It's about taking action, even when that voice of doubt is screaming in your ear.
So true. It's about recognizing those feelings, those thoughts, and choosing not to let them call the shots.
Right.
Not letting them paralyze you.
Exactly. And one of the things the episode emphasized was that you don't have to have all the answers or feel 100% ready to get started.
Because let's be honest, that almost never happens, right?
Right. It's about progress over perfection. Taking those first steps, even if they're small, can create amazing momentum.
Okay, so starting small, I like that. But how do we actually maintain that momentum, especially when we inevitably hit those roadblocks?
That's where their advice on reframing failure was so key. It's about shifting our perspective, seeing those setbacks not as dead ends, but as valuable detours.
That's such a powerful reframe, though, isn't it? Instead of this, big, scary F word, it's like, okay, interesting, what can I learn from this?
Right. Like maybe this is actually pointing me in a better direction. But to even get to that point, to be open to those detours, I think we have to really look at where those roadblocks are even coming from.
Yeah, because a lot of times those roadblocks aren't even real. It's like we've internalized these limitations that aren't actually true.
That's what the episode really digs into. How those limitations, they often come from, like our childhood experiences, things we were told, societal norms we've picked up along the way.
Yeah, totally. It's those messages, the ones that get stuck on repeat in our subconscious, like, you're not good enough, or you'll never be able to do that.
Yes. And we start to believe them without even realizing it.
Mhm.
So we might think, oh, I could never start my own business. I'm not cut out for that. But is that really true? Or is that just what we've been conditioned to believe?
It's like we're living out someone else's script instead of writing our own. And it's so easy to fall into that trap, especially now with social media and everything.
Oh, absolutely. We're constantly bombarded with everyone else's highlight reel, which makes it really easy to feel like we're not measuring up.
Totally. Like everyone else has it all figured out and we're the only ones struggling. But that's never the whole story, is it?
Never. Everyone's journey is different. We all have our own strengths, our own weaknesses, our own timeline. And the episode also touched on this idea, which I thought was so interesting, about how fear can often disguise itself as practicality.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's like that voice that's all, no, you're just being realistic.
Right, like when you really want to go for something, but that voice pops up and says, better play it safe. Stick to what you know.
And we convince ourselves that it's the responsible choice, when really it's just fear holding us back.
Exactly. Because the truth is, sometimes the biggest risk is playing it safe.
It's so true. Like sometimes staying comfortable, it keeps us from actually growing, It's like we're so afraid of failing, we don't even give ourselves the chance to try.
And that's exactly where that idea of giving yourself permission comes in. Remember that part?
Oh, yeah.
The episode talked about how we often wait for someone else to give us permission to go after what we want. Like we need a permission slip or something.
Right, like someone else needs to validate our dreams before we can actually pursue them.
But the truth is, that permission, it has to come from within. We have to be the ones to say, you know what? This is important to me, and I'm going for it.
So no more waiting for that perfect moment or like all the stars to align, huh?
Exactly. We could be waiting forever for that. It's about taking action, even when we don't feel 100% ready, because action often leads to confidence.
You know, it's funny, thinking back to those people we were talking about earlier, those who seem to effortlessly achieve their goals, it's not magic or anything like that, is it? They just decided to start taking action.
Exactly. They decided to try, take that first step, and the next, figuring it out as they went along.
And they weren't afraid of stumbling along the way either. They used those setbacks as feedback, not as reasons to give up.
And look where it got them.
So for anyone listening who's maybe feeling that little spark, you know, that why not me feeling, what's one thing they can do today to tap into that and start moving forward?
Just start. Identify one tiny step, no matter how small it seems, something that moves you just a little bit closer to what you want, and then do it. And then tomorrow, do it again. It all starts with that first step.
Because at the end of the day, the only thing that's really holding us back is, well, us.
So ask yourself, why not me? And then go out there and make it happen.
I love that. So good.